severe weather and what's on the horizon for areas of South Dakota as well. We'll get to the breakdown here as quickly as we possibly can, but as you can see, the graphic shows the week one, June 18th through the 24th, South Dakota and Minnesota expected to get ramped up again sometime uh, through the weekend into next week. We'll talk about that a little bit further, but we want to get to today's weather. Appreciate you all joining. Make sure that you do a solid and go ahead and follow if you're not already following. Let's go ahead and break down this information here as best as we can. So, this is the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for today. Areas that need to be the most concerned would be areas of like Chicago, Detroit. I'm going to name off some big cities area. So, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Columbus, some other areas that are highly populated: Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, Indiana, Bloomington, Illinois, Springfield, Illinois, St. Louis. You're under the gun for possibilities of tornadoes later this afternoon. Some other areas that would be Jonesboro, Arkansas, Little Rock, even back into parts of Memphis, Jackson, Tennessee, Cape Girardeau, and just east of Springfield, Missouri area, Fort Smith, Stigler, Texas, McAllister. These are areas of extreme southeastern portion of Oklahoma. Those would be concerns there. Let me go ahead and bring down the information for the tornado outlook here. These are Oklahoma, McAllister, right here, 2% risk for significant. Yes, Milwaukee. I will take a look at that here for you. Let me get the breakdown of the timing here. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. I'm going to bring up Radar Omega right now. These are the tornado risks, and that's the most significant severe weather that's expected there. Let me go ahead and looks like we just went through an update here. So thankfully, I'll be able to move this on through Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you're referring to that area, timing of your storms is going to be late in the day, so after 5. Let me back that up here just to make sure. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, some storms there. You're outside of that 2% risk, so less than 2% risk in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Areas of, please, folks, if you can do a solid and put the state. I'm assuming you're talking about Baltimore, Maryland, Alex. But Baltimore, Maryland, you don't have a risk here for today for the tornado weather. You do have a risk for areas of marginally severe risks in Baltimore. The radar that I'm using is Radar Omega, Bay City, Michigan, for Lyons. Bay City, Michigan, your area is under a slight risk here today. Again, the timing for Bay City would be sometime after 1 p.m. You're going to have a couple of different rounds in Michigan area, and then later in the evening is where I'm expecting more significant severe risks to be happening, like the wind, the hail, and all that. Baldwin, it looks like Daytona, Louisiana, Daytona, Ohio, or Dayton, sorry, Dayton, Ohio, and then we got to go to Louisiana here. Enhanced risk today. So all modes of severe weather are expected in Dayton, Ohio. The timing again, here's Dayton, Ohio timing. We'll have a few scattered thunderstorms early this morning, and then the real big kicker comes this afternoon and into the late evening. If you look at Indianapolis here, holy smokes, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, this big old mess right here. It's a wall of wind as well as embedded tornadoes possible around 4 p.m. As you move through, 5 p.m., Dayton, Ohio. Here you go, 5 p.m. These are estimates, folks, so just stay weather aware and be aware that these are just estimates. This HRRR or HER model does go through updates hourly, so they could change. I don't expect a whole lot of change, so the main thing is this afternoon and into the evening. If you're in areas of Ohio, definitely stay weather aware. Louisiana, you wanted to know what your risks are for today. Shreveport area, Louisiana, you're in a marginal risk. The timing of your storms is going to be super late in the evening, after 5 p.m. in Shreveport, Ruston area. Otherwise, non-severe south of Shreveport, Louisiana. Non-severe weather in Louisiana. Crazy 8, is Detroit getting anything fun today? Hey, what's up, Kansas Storm Chasing? Dude, I hope you had a blast with Reed. Dude, I am so envious of you right now. I hope you didn't mind that I posted the photo of the two of you on my Facebook page. That was pretty gnarly, man. All right, so let me go ahead and take a look at Atlanta, Mableton. Nashville, Tennessee area, you guys have some concerns for Nashville. Let me get you solid here. That is going to be super late. This is after 7 p.m. in Nashville. Again, the risks there are pretty plentiful in Nashville area as well. Let me go ahead and show you the tornado risks for Nashville. You're just outside of that 2% risk, but again, stay weather aware today in Nashville, Tennessee, Toledo, Ohio. Ohio, you are under the gun pretty much for all modes of severe weather. So this afternoon, we're talking tornadoes, straight line wind potential, as well as hail, big time hail. Again, the timing of that is going to be sometime this afternoon. Don't let your guard up because there could also be a second wave later this evening in areas of Ohio. So just be mindful of that. I'm not going to be able to specify all the areas of Ohio, but just in generally speaking here, uh, let me go ahead and switch the tornado risks over for tomorrow. That Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Baltimore area has that risk for tomorrow. I know there was some people that asked about that. So the tornado risk for tomorrow. Now for today, here's the wind risk, folks. This is why we're concerned. Higher Mind, thank you so much for the roses. I appreciate it. And Missouri, timing right here for Missouri. Cape Girardeau area, you got 10 o'clock this morning. There could be some significant storms passing through your area, and that would be, again, potential today for tornadic activity in southeastern portion of, of Missouri, and that would include Cape Girardeau and Poplar Bluff area. Again, timing is critical. You could have the first round around 10 o'clock this morning in southeastern part of Missouri, and then a second wave comes later in the evening, but those look to be much more spotty. Baldwin, Missouri. Let me see if I can get to you. Kelly, I think I took care of your Cape Girardeau area. Again, folks, I would appreciate the gifts if you're able to. That is awesome. Oh, Crazy 8, if you're a trucker, stay safe, man. That is a tough job. You deal with a lot of crazy weather. All right, so Baldwin, Missouri area, you guys are in a 15% risk for the wind threat, and you're also in a pretty significant outlook for, let me go back to Baldwin, Missouri here. Thank you all so much, Blur. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. Thank you, Crazy 8, for the gifts. I appreciate that as well. I just looked and it said there was a different outlook. What are you talking? Let me go ahead and take a look here and see. Let me see if this is updated here. This was updated at 7:54 a.m. So I don't see anything. Look at Muncie, Indiana for tornadoes. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Yeah, sorry. So, folks, sometimes when you're looking at, I know I don't have the vertical for TikTok followers and that. So, what you might need to do if you're looking at your phone on this, you're going to need to rotate that to the landscape view and go full screen so that you can see the whole thing. That's best. Weather from Toledo, Ohio to Chicago, Illinois from 8 p.m. to midnight. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, anywhere's in there is going to have some risk. I don't see Louisville, Kentucky, so I imagine we are safe. Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville is not safe today. Are you guys able to see the outlines of these states in white? No problem, Kayla. You got a risk of 5% risk. Now, while we have those percentages as a 5%, that's a pretty impactful number, 5%. You got 2, 5, and then you go even higher from there. But this is a pretty significant outlook here for today for tornadoes. You're welcome, Kayla. No problem. All right, weather from Toledo, Ohio to Chicago, Illinois, 8 p.m. Let's go ahead and Toledo, Ohio to Chicago. Well, you can pretty much see it on there, but we'll go through it here. 8 p.m. All right, here's 8 p.m. Okay, 8 p.m. right there, and then as you can see, HRRR isn't showing a whole lot. So 8 p.m. to midnight looks okay. However, this could change. Just be aware. So Indiana has a 5% risk of tornadoes. 2% is the green, and 5% is the brown. Wayland, Michigan, impact tonight. Wayland, Michigan. And folks, I apologize that I'm not able to get to every single person's area. I am just one person, and I appreciate the gifts. Thank you, Kayla. Chicago, you guys are in the 5% risk for tornadoes. And again, that is expected to be later this afternoon. Chicago, you could kind of see your area right there. Chicago, Columbus, you guys are in that tornado risk for today. Again, this afternoon looks like sometime after 1 p.m. and then a second wave comes through or tries to come through. HRRR isn't able to pick up on that though because we're not able to go past 11 p.m. All right, let's see. You're welcome for the updates. Jackson, Michigan throughout the day. Again, Jackson, Michigan, spotty showers, but development is expected late in the day for Jackson, Michigan, sometime after 5 p.m. Let me go ahead and show you significant tornado parameters. If you guys aren't familiar with significant tornado parameters, let me give you that information. So this is basically on a radar model estimate. It gives you an idea of where um, where we could see the most impactful tornado outlook here. Let me go ahead and bring that through. As you can see, areas of Indianapolis over to Crawfordsville, Fishers around 2 o'clock. There are some numbers here supporting tornado spin-ups. Not real significant, but still dangerous today, this afternoon into the evening. All right, let's go ahead a little bit further. This will look at 2 o'clock. Here's a look at 3. As you can see, those numbers get more significant. That's a 2.7 for significant tornado parameters, 3.5 near Kokomo, Russiaville area, east of Lafayette, Indiana. So really, I'm going to kind of circle the area that I believe is going to be the most significant impacts for tornado activity today. That would be right there. So if you live in any of those areas, that's probably going to be the most significant area for tornadic activity. Doesn't mean that the other areas aren't going to get it. As you can see, after 6 p.m., down here by Louisville and Jasper area, you could have some tornadic activity as well with a significant tornado parameter number of 1.5. Anything that's higher than 0 could have that potential for brief spin-ups. Detroit, Michigan. We'll go to Detroit here and show the numbers. Back that up here a little bit. Detroit, I believe what you're going to have is more impactful later in the evening hours. Let's go to a look at the estimates here, though. There's a look at 6 p.m. in Detroit. Yeah, Detroit, according to HRRR, sometime after 5 p.m., Detroit, be weather aware. If those storms can hold together, you could have a brief spin up. It's hard to tell. Fort Wayne, Indiana area. Fort Wayne is right there, folks. Again, this is a couple of different rounds are expected. You could have some development happening early this morning, and then that kind of fades out. And then as you get into the afternoon hours and into the evening, there's the round 1, Fort Wayne, around 3 p.m. estimates. And then bigger cell comes through here all along Muncie, Marion, Newcastle, along that between I-74 and I-69. Around 4 p.m. is what this looks like here. South Lyon, Michigan. I appreciate y'all joining. Please do a solid and do some follows if you're able to. If you have not already followed, we do these live daily updates at 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time. So the pin drop right there is South Lyon. That's near Detroit. You guys are in the 5% risk for tornado activity. Again, later this afternoon into the late evening hours is what we're expecting in South Lyon. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. Michigan, the whole state of Michigan, unless you're way up into this northern half, up by Cadillac, Traverse City, these areas, the green is a 2% risk. So from Big Rapids, Michigan, all the way down to Bedford Township area and Detroit. Arlington, Ohio. I'm picking these out randomly, so please don't spam, folks. Aurora, Illinois, you guys are in a risk today as well. Let me zoom back out and show you guys the risks here, okay? This is the 5% risk is in brown. The 2% risk for tornadoes is in green. And let me go ahead and span out so you guys can see a little bit better. These are the overall risks, okay? So what we have is up in areas of Minot and North Dakota is in a marginal risk. Areas just to the extreme eastern portion of Iowa And then central part of Missouri is in a marginal risk, and some portions are in a slight risk. Trenton, Mississippi, you're not in too much of a risk today. Whoops, not Missouri. You're in non-severe weather is expected in Trenton, Mississippi. Again, slight risk is in yellow. Marginal risk of severe weather or a 1 out of 5 is in the darker shade of green. The lighter shade of green is non-severe potential. Enid, Oklahoma. Angel Mosier, what is the risk for Albert Lee, Minnesota for today? Uh, general thunderstorms. Not expecting anything huge today. Is Nickelville, Oklahoma? Jesus follower Dayton, you guys have some storms that are expected and significant severe storms, including Dayton, Ohio, uh, much of Ohio in the western half. So if you're from Newark, Lancaster, Chillicothe area, west, even up by Cleveland area and further west, is all under risks for all modes of severe weather. Angel Mosier, you're welcome. And thank you very much for the rose. I appreciate it. Cook County, can you tell me, are you talking about Ohio? Cape Girardeau is going to have some impacts for you later today. Let me go ahead and show Cape Girardeau. You have an enhanced risk. You could have some storms that are popping up later this morning. At least that's what it's picking up. Let's take a look real quick at live radar and see if there's anything going on. 1 second here. And let me switch over to this 1 second here. We don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings right now, so that's good news. 1 second, I'm switching my scenes here. There we go. New Jersey, you guys are, let me show you one other thing here. 1 second. So here's the overall outlook. So I'm going to kind of go through this right now. All right. Let's start into areas of most concern. Indiana. All right. There's your risks. You got a 3 out of 5 for all of Indiana. Here's the tornado risk. Again, green is the 2 to 4%, brown is the 5 to 9%. All right, we're going to go over to areas of Illinois. Here's your guys' risks. You have anywheres from a 1 out of 5 all the way over west of Peoria. But Aurora, Springfield, East St. Louis area, you guys are in slight risk. Champaign, Illinois, Mount Vernon, Marion, Carbondale, Kankakee, you guys are in the enhanced risk. All right, we're going to go to Michigan. And just don't discard the wind threat, folks. Take a look at this for the wind threat. Probability of severe wind, we got 30 to 44%. And your hail risk is less, but it is still pretty significant near those areas of Carbondale, Marion, Mount Vernon, Effingham, Champaign, and then less as you go out from there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at area. California, you must be referring to maybe some fires and stuff. I'm sorry, not able to get to that at this point. Can you tell me where the Cat 6s was supposed to be? I never said anything about Cat 6. I think you're Rowdy. You're getting me mixed up. I despise GFS. I don't use it typically on my models that I look at. I look at it a little bit, but I've never mentioned in hurricanes. I was actually mentioning that there's some people on TikTok that are talking about hurricanes, and there's not even any shots of those anytime real soon. So, Rowdy, I think you got me mixed up with somebody else. All right, let's go ahead and get to some of these other areas. Again, Ohio area. Here's your risks. 3 out of 5 for Findlay, Toledo, Dayton, Cincinnati. And then the tornado risk is right there. Sandusky, 2%, Columbus, and then Dayton, Findlay, Toledo, Cincinnati. You guys are pretty much in the 5% risk for tornadoes. And again, that's going to be later this afternoon. There's going to be there's going to be a couple of different rounds of storms up in areas of Indianapolis area or Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio areas. You're going to have a couple. I will Louisville is going to be expected later this afternoon, sometime after 3 p.m. So stay whether, oh, you're talking about Louisville, Kentucky. I apologize. It's a number of different Louisvilles. So 1 second, I will get to that. All right, somebody asked for Michigan. There's Michigan's risks. We have a 2 out of 5, Saginaw, Mount Pleasant area. And then farther south, Lansing and Ann Arbor and Benton Harbor, you guys have that 3 out of 5 risk. The tornado risk, again, south of Alma, near the Grand Rapids, Benton Harbor, Lansing, Ann Arbor, even Detroit and Flint, you guys are in that 5% risk for tornado activity. And just as I stated, don't discard all the other risks. Lansing, Ann Arbor also have the severe wind risk. All right, Kentucky area. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. There's your risks there. 3 out of 5. And again, Kentucky area is going to be super late in the evening, sometime after 5 p.m., unless these storms can ramp up even sooner. Look at that. Tornado risk right there as well in areas of Bowling Green. The wind risk as well. Somebody was asking me about Pennsylvania. You guys do have the risk there as well for Pennsylvania for a marginal risk. Let me take a look and see if you guys have a hydrological outlook. I do want to make sure that I get the outlook for flooding potential because that is also great today as well. Not great in a good way, just large risk. Let me show you the risks for the flooding potential, folks. 1 second here. So these are the areas that have the highest risk for flash flooding or flooding. You got all the way into Chicago area, Milwaukee, Muskegon, Mount Pleasant, Flint. So the reason why many of these areas, this is a slight risk. So here's what's expected in the slight risk areas. I'll read this off. This was updated at 4 o'clock this morning, so be aware of that. Rainfall that will likely 70% chance to reach 3 inches and may reach as much as 5 inches in a few isolated locations. This could result in instances of flash flooding. Areas of mid-Atlantic to into New England. This would be covering your areas of Pennsylvania, 2 to 3 inches of rainfall with multiple rounds of isolated storms. And again, areas of Kentucky, A big concern, even southeast portion of Missouri and over into northeast part of Arkansas, and that Memphis, Jackson, Tennessee area. Lots of risk there for flooding today, flash flooding concerns for today. Again, the 15% risk of that 3 to maybe even 5+ inches of rain in some areas is in that yellow, and then lesser but still great for the green. All right, I got to take care of AH for the Louisville, Kentucky area. Let's go ahead and put our risks back up here, and I'll shut off the flooding. I wanted to make sure I took care of the flash flooding risks here. And we'll go ahead and take a quick peek at the live radar here. 1 second. As you can see, there's a few storms, but non-severe at this time, that are moving through the areas. Lots of flooding going on from storms overnight into areas of Wichita and even Oklahoma areas. You got a special weather statement down here south over by Ada, Oklahoma. And those are kind of the training thunderstorms that we're expecting. And then areas to the west of Bloomington, Illinois, have some training thunderstorms as well. It's likely going to be that first round of severe weather. Let's go back to the weather model. Susie, thank you very much. Bonnie Ellis, these storms are all by design. All by design. That's a new one by me. Do we have a conspiracy theory as to how they're all by design? I am curious. Hey, Jeff. Yeah, you definitely got my curiosity on that, how it's by design. Are you talking about seed clouding or what? Yeah, they're definitely not by design. They are deliberate. Okay. All right, we're moving on, folks. I'm not exactly sure where to go with that. All right, so Louisville timing, AH. Let's get that Louisville, Kentucky timing figured out. And I apologize it's taken so long. If you guys have not subscribed to my TikTok yet, we're working on some tiered special live only for subscriber events. So if you haven't done that so yet, it would be awesome if you could. We're not. We only last I checked, we only have one subscriber, but I'm waiting for a few more so that we can do some special fun weather education stuff, and just going to bring all kinds of educational things. Oh, harp! I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I'm not into that a whole lot. I understand what you're saying, but all right, Louisville, finally, we got this to load. So Louisville, Kentucky, your timing is after 3 p.m. And let me take a look at the significant tornado parameters. Sandra, let's take a look here. St. Louis. St. Louis, Missouri, you are in that slight risk for severe weather. You're also in the risk for the tornado activity. So we were taking a look at Louisville area. Make sure I can still see that. Louisville is in that 5% risk. My radar omega is having a little tough. How's things looking for Eastern Kentucky? Eastern Kentucky, you have that flash flooding concern, but as far as the tornado risk, that is less than 2% for Eastern Kentucky if you're east of Lexington. We're looking at significant tornado parameter numbers, and I want to go down to Tennessee here. They may end up expanding some of this, in my opinion, based on what I see here. So they may end up expanding this with the 11:30 update from SPC to include Nashville, Murfreesboro, um, Tennessee areas. I think it would be a good idea for them to do that for the tornado risk, just based on the significant tornado parameter numbers that I see here. So if you're in Nashville, Murfreesboro, Jackson, Memphis areas, definitely concerning there. Spartansburg, Diesel, are you talking about North Carolina? South Carolina, I meant. Sorry. All right. So your risk for South Carolina today, general thunderstorms. Let me make sure I look at the hydrological outlook as well. It looks like you guys are just general thunderstorms. Non-severe storms are expected in South Carolina today. All right. Areas, yeah, Dayton around 5 or 6. Yes, correct. Dayton, Ohio, around 5 or 6. You have some storms moving. Dayton, Ohio. Fort Worth area. Let me go ahead and take a look at that area. You do have that risk for slight risk of severe weather. Let's take a look at the tornado risk. You're outside of the tornado risk, so less than 2% risk for Fort Worth, Texas area. I do believe areas of concern for some of that Fort Worth area is just going to be general thunderstorms. I don't suspect anything real huge. Even though you guys are in that slight risk, I think they're going to scale that back and put it more towards this area, but still don't want you to let your guard down. You're still in the slight risk for severe weather. Hudsonville, Flushing, Michigan. I can take a look at that here. And I'm sorry, folks, that I haven't gotten to everybody. I'm only one person. I could do general outlooks here. So, Flushing, you're in that slight risk for severe weather. You're also in the tornado risk. You have 5% risk, 5 to 10% risk. Anything in southeast Wisconsin for today. Not expecting anything real huge, but I could go over some of those overall risks here. So, southeast Wisconsin, marginal risk of severe weather in your area. Be non-severe, like 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Most of yours expected to be in southeast part of Wisconsin sometime after 4 p.m. as it approaches the Chicago area, and it doesn't look real significant in my view. However, again, areas of Indiana, couple of different rounds. Indiana, you guys got rounds this afternoon after 1 p.m. Areas of Illinois, your storms approach sooner, sometime early afternoon, sometime around noontime in Illinois. And then it moves on through. By 4 p.m., it's done, but a second round could spark up later in the evening hours. So, you got a couple of waves through there. Areas of Columbus and Ohio area. You guys have some of your storms showing up sometime after 5 p.m. in areas of Ohio. Nashville, Tennessee area. Let's go ahead and take a look at solid here, like the Memphis area first. Memphis, sometime after 6 p.m. These are in Central Daylight Time. Nashville, sometime after 7. And kind of that Campbellsville, Bowling Green area, sometime after 6 p.m. is what we're expecting for those storms there. Lansing, Michigan, I'm assuming. Lansing, Michigan looks to be after 5 p.m. in Lansing, Michigan. Again, just be mindful things could spark up sooner and cap could break and we could end up having storms sooner. So this is just radar estimates, weather model estimates. Areas of Virginia. Virginia, you guys are in the risk for just general non-severe thunderstorms for today. Unless you're in the extreme northeastern by Fredericksburg area, you guys have a marginal risk of severe weather, maybe 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts, but nothing real huge expected in Virginia area. So, folks in Indiana, if you're in the Chicago, Joliet, Bloomington, Springfield, Illinois, and Alton, that's a slight risk. So, following that I-55 area would be the slight risk. NTX Weather, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, NTX Weather, for the roses. I appreciate it and I appreciate all the weather updates that you give for folks. I wish I was able to be live more often. How's Philly look today, Andrew? I will take a look at that. Philly today, you do have some risks for the flash flooding, marginal risk outlined in that green here. We'll take a look at that. Timing for Philly area. It's going to be super late after 5 for some of that rain, but it's going to be torrential rain at times. So between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. for folks in Philly. Oh, I apologize. There you go. You can probably see it now. I had to move the map over. So hopefully you can see it now. So after 5 o'clock in Philly. I work in Silver Springs. Ooh. Could you say the state? And I apologize. Is that Texas? Is that Maryland? Andrew K. Not expecting any tornado activity in areas of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania today. Oh, okay, Lexi. Yep. You have risks for marginal risk of flash flooding in Maryland area today. But again, timing is going to be after 5 p.m. But as far as tornadic activity, not expecting any tornadoes in areas of Maryland today. Again, the main focus would be how's Michigan looking? Michigan, you guys are going to be under some major flooding expected. Not only that, again, all modes of severe weather are expected in some portions of Michigan. The only thing that isn't a real big risk would be extreme northern Michigan. So if you're north of Cadillac, Michigan. So over by Traverse City and Petoskey, you do have that marginal risk for excessive rainfall, but the tornado potential is kind of over into Muskegon, Mount Pleasant, Lansing, Flint, Jackson, that South Bend area. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, you do have a marginal risk for excessive rainfall, but your severe weather risks with relation to tornadoes, damaging wind, and hail is pretty much non-existent. I'm sorry, Abby, Ohio is going to be under the gun for marginal risk for excessive rainfall as well. as tornado risk, hail, damaging winds, 70 plus mile an hour winds as well. Maine area, you guys, I'm not able to go up. Well, I can go up to Maine, but really don't have a whole lot going on there. There's not even there's non-severe weather is expected in Maine today. All right, Lansing, Michigan. You guys are excessive rainfall. So pretty much the whole state of Michigan, excessive rainfall expected. We could see 5+ inches in some isolated spots of rain over the next 24 hours in Michigan. Some areas of Illinois could also have that. Um, the Big Bomb, Lean County, Illinois. I don't know if misspelling that or what, but I don't see it. What about Muncie, Indiana? Let me go ahead and pull this back here 1 second. I got to get the excessive rainfall outlook off there, else we're going to get confused. All right. So these are the risks for severe weather. We have an enhanced risk here in the brown. Up here we have the slight risk. So South Bend, let me name off a few of these folks. Muncie. Again, the timing for Muncie, let's go ahead and bring that back a little bit. There's Muncie, Indiana. You have first round sometime after 4 p.m. Could be a little bit sooner. I would say 3 p.m. would be a safer bet. And then some more storms, more scattered in nature into tomorrow. But then it's on out of here. Charleston, West Virginia. Let's go ahead and take a look at you guys. So Charleston, you guys are in a marginal risk for severe weather today. Your tornado risk is less than 2%. Your hail and severe wind risk is pretty much non-existent. However, tomorrow things change a little bit and into areas of Petersburg tomorrow and Brandywine. You guys have tornado risk for tomorrow. Iowa, I don't see anything that is expected to be significant in those areas of Iowa unless you're into areas like Burlington, extreme southeastern portion. Let's go ahead and take a look at the timing on that. You could see some heavy rain at times this afternoon into that area, but otherwise, again, Iowa, not expecting anything real huge in Iowa for today. You're outlined in the general thunderstorms, non-severe. When should I be concerned? All glory to God. All right, Fort Wayne, Indiana. I will take a look at that. Okay, again, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Pretty much the whole state of Indiana is going to be any time this afternoon are the risks. The main event kind of shows up in Fort Wayne area sometime after 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. If you're further south, those are going to be much more significant, in my opinion, as you got that tornado risk. But these are pretty significant over by Indianapolis around 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time. McLean County, Illinois. the big bomb. I'm sorry, I was trying to get to that, but I can't find it in here. Is it if it's around the Chicago area? I'll do a solid here. I'm guessing it is. So sometime around 2 p.m., that significant weather shows up. So overall, your guys' risks in areas of Illinois is going to be this early afternoon. Illinois, you should be done with everything by 7 p.m., at least the significant severe weather. All right, Dallas Miller, let's hold off. Let's not be spamming, folks. All right. All right, Fowler, Michigan. Or thought I was kind of covering that whole area. If you're in a 5% risk for tornadoes or you're in a 2% risk of tornadoes, you guys can see these graphics, right? I'm just wanting to make sure. So if you're in any tornado risk, you pretty much the whole day you need to stay weather aware. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just wanting to make sure that you guys can see the graphics correct. That way people are not spamming the chat. We don't need people spamming the chat. Your voices are going to be heard as best as I possibly can. All right, so there is Fowlerville. All right, I do need to let you guys go. Timing on that is after 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and then Milwaukee area. Are you talking Milwaukee, Wisconsin? I'm assuming because that's the only one that I'm aware of. Milwaukee is outside of that big risk.